So good morning. So I'm here to discuss about the corporate strategies. So under corporate strategies, we have the integrative growth strategies. So these are essential external growth strategies which involve investing in the resources of the organization in another company or business to achieve growth goals. So integrative growth strategies are essentially acquisition strategy. So there are companies who acquired other company and for the reason or their objective is to have a market growth or to have increasing market share. So we have a types of integrative growth strategies. So we have the horizontal integration and vertical integration. Before we proceed with the discussion of the horizontal and vertical integrations, so I have here the example first of the supply chain. So we already discussed supply chain in our previous discussion, but to give you a clear vision of the integration, i-review ko lang kayo dito sa supply chain. So here, as you can see in the illustration, we have here we have the raw materials or the procurement of the raw materials, and then it will go to the manufacturing. After the manufacturing, the distribution channel before it reaches out the customer, dito tayo sa retail. So, sinabi natin before that supply chain is the longitudinal process, meaning to say it is a long process. Here, dito nangyayari yung mga integrations. Okay, dito pinapasok ng mga companies yung mga strategies of integrations sa supply chain activities. So, when we're talking about a forward, that is to move up to the supply chain. Okay? That is pa-forward siya. And when we're talking about move down the supply chain, that is what we call a backwards. So let's proceed with the two types of vertical integration. So the first one is the horizontal integration. It is a strategy where the organization acquires another competing business. So there are varied reasons for undertaking horizontal integration. So first, reason is the organizations may employ horizontal integrations to eliminate real or potential competitors because some competitors can present themselves as a deadly threat to an organization. So companies are doing this because they have to eliminate competitions, and of course, these competitors or these competitions are actually threat to them. So kaya nila ginagawa yan. So example of horizontal integration is Marriott Hotel. If you're familiar with Marriott Hotel is a five-star hotel all over the world that actually buys Starwood, another hotel, to become world's largest hotel chain. Okay, so binili ni Marriott another hotel, and this is an example of horizontal integration where the companies acquires another competing business. Okay, so this goes with the retail business or a service business like Marriott Hotel. Okay, so when we're talking about a vertical integration, it is a process of consolidating into an organization other companies involved in all aspects of the product or service process from raw materials to distribution. So we have two integration under ng vertical integration. So let's go first with the backward integration. So backward integration, it is an interactive acquisition growth strategy where the organization buys one of its suppliers. So an organization may carry out backward integration to better control its supply chain and ensure a more reliable or cost-effective supply of input. So this is actually when we're talking about backward integration, the company is buying their suppliers. Okay, so when we're talking about forward integration, it is carried out when the organization buys distribution companies that are part of its distribution chain. In effect, the organization is able to remove the intermediary, thus eliminating distribution costs It allows an organization to reinvent its marketing outlook and redesign its marketing strategies. So when we're talking about the forward integration, the company actually buying the distribution channel so that after they produce the product, they already have their distribution channel. So doon na agad nila maipasa yung kanilang mga finished product. So another example of backward integration is IKEA. So IKEA is the largest manufacturing of um, furnitures, house households, ang tawag dito, equipment o yung ating mga household supplies na ginagamit sa bahay. So IKEA is a one of manufacturing ng mga furniture, household equipment. So, in the Philippines, magkakaroon na rin tayo ng IKEA. Okay? So, IKEA buys forests in Romania and Bulgaria. So, this is an example of backward integration because pa-backward siya. From manufacturing, before they will produce their product, so they already have the backward integrations where the trees that were planted in the Romania, in the forest in Romania and Bulgaria ay pagmamay-ari na ni IKEA. Okay? So here is an example of forward integration. So this integration naman, ang example dito is from distribution channel to the retail store. So ang distribution channel dito or distribution center is yung Booker Group. This is located in Europe. So Booker Group completes a 400 million pounds takeover of Londis and Budgens. Londis and Budgens are retail store. So this distribution channel is actually they are taking over this retail store which is Londis and Budgens. So lahat ng mga distribution channel dito, sila yung magsusupply dito sa retail store ng Londis and Budgens. So this is an example of forward integration. So now, let's go to sum up or to have a summary of what we have discussed about the integration. So ito yung mga in the left side, we have the direction, we have the forward, backward, horizontal, and conglomerate. So to sum up, when we're talking about forward integration, this is actually acquiring a business further up the supply chain. So example, manufacturer buys a distributor. Okay, so from your finished product, you actually buys the distributor. Kumbaga, may pagdadalhan ka na agad ng iyong mga products. When we're talking about a backward integration, acquiring a business operating earlier in the supply chain. So if you remember our example of IKEA, who buys forest in Bulgaria and Romania. So this is an example of backward. Here in this summary, ang example naman dito is a retailer who buys a wholesaler. Okay, so if you are a retailer, all of your products that you're offering to your customers is actually coming from one wholesaler na kinukuhanan ninyo. Okay? So now, when we are talking about horizontal, acquiring a business at the same stage of the supply chain. Example is manufacturer buys a competitor. So, yung example kanina natin is yung Marriott who buys their competitor, another hotel. So, that is a horizontal. Diba? So, aside from they are actually limiting their competitors, they are actually gaining their market share. Okay? While gaining their market share, they are able to control their competitors. Okay, that is horizontal integration. So here, when we're talking about conglomerate, where the acquisition has no clear connection to the business buying it, or what we call the diversification. So the best example that I can think of conglomerate is SM. So SM is a retail store, and SM buys BDO, Banco de Oro. So Banco de Oro is a bank, so there is no clear connection to a retail business. There's no clear connection to SM, but Henry C. buys or bought BDO. So that is an example of conglomerate business. So another example is SM has another business of SMDC. So SMDC is a condominium, 'di ba, business, a property business. There is no clear connection with the retail business. But that is a clear example of diversification where SM is practicing a conglomerate type of strategy. So this ends our discussions of the corporate strategies. So if you have questions on your mind, so we will discuss that all the questions that you have in our synchronous session. Okay, so thank you so much.